This week we got the Lunar New Year update alongside a new event, the Winter Pathfinder, and with it 5 new ships as well as buffs to 2 old ships. To get started, let's talk about meta, as in the in-game faction. The new cruise mission meta ship got announced and it is Sheffield META. Her first skill fires a barrage that marks enemies hit. Her second skill gives her a 70% increased crit rate against marked enemies. Both skills also give some damage buffs. Because all the good light cruiser guns shoot 6 bullets with a 3 to 4 second cooldown, 2 volleys will fulfill the 12 times hit requirement from the first skill, and then the mark only lasts 5 seconds, so she can only get 1 crit enhanced volley in there. Of course, this doesn't account for RNG or the barrage on her third skill proccing the first skill's barrage. The shells might miss, the crit chance isn't 100%, but if I'm understanding this correctly, roughly 1 in 3 volleys from her will crit. And that's all she has going for her. Unfortunately, no main gun +1. Her stats are pretty average across the board. She's exactly what you would expect from a meta ship. Above average ship for sure, but can easily be replaced with a stronger ship later on. Great for newer players, as meta ships are essentially free to obtain and raise. Next, let's move on to the 2 elites. First we have Hwah Jah, and I have bad news. First of all, she's an elite. Second, she's Dragon Emperor. And third, she uses seaplanes. Collection tier. But at least she's cute. The other elite is Ting An, one of 3 munition ships in the game. And I have bad news. First of all, she's an elite. Second, she's Dragon Emperor. And third, she uses seaplanes. Collection tier. But I made a degenerate booba video earlier this week about how Kashino has the biggest breasts, but Ting An just might beat her. Now the 2 SRs. We have Theseus, who I think is actually really strong. Her aviation is high, especially for a light carrier. She gets a 3rd plane instead of an anti-air slot, giving her the full 8 planes in her loadout. Her torpedo bomber efficiency is also very high. Her first 2 skills give good damage buffs and 2 barrages, and her last skill gives her a little bit of survivability, which is the one area where she lacks in. Overall, a very strong ship. I was expecting her to be another healer like Perseus, but I am pleasantly surprised by how much damage Theseus brings. I feel like HMS is one UR release away from having their own premier carrier fleet, because with the last few HMS releases, they have some pretty strong carrier options. And the last new ship, Kuybyshev, is a Russian light cruiser, and she's kinda mid. Thing she has going for her is her main gun +1 on top of a destroyer auxiliary gun, giving her very good consistent gun damage. She functions well as a Northern Parliament Vanguard buffer with crit damage on her second skill. Things going against her is her first skill's barrage not being at 100% kinda sucks. Also, her self-heal is just a worse zombie heal, requiring her to lose 25% of her HP each battle before getting the heal, instead of just dropping below 25%. That's all the new ships, but we're not done yet. We still have 2 old ships who got buffed. Yat Sen and Elite Dragon Emperor ship. Oh no. I'm just kidding. Her retrofit's pretty good. Her base stats got a decent increase. Compared to Kuybyshev, you'll see that her stats are pretty similar. Yat Sen also technically gets main gun +1 since she has no torpedo slot. Problem is, she has half as much HP. This is remedied with her skills though. Her retrofit makes it so her first skill doesn't require Ninghai or Pinghai anymore. Instead, you can pair her with a strong Dragon Emperor ship like Harbin, and the buffs you get are great. 5% damage buff is nice, but the 20% damage reduction and 30% evasion rate is nuts. This makes her way tankier than Kuybyshev despite having half as much HP. She also gets a new retrofit skill, giving her an extra 5% damage reduction and an improved barrage if you use her aux gear, which you should as it's a better toolkit. Yat Sen retrofit is now a really good ship. I would even go as far to say that if you are fighting Sakura Empire ships, she might be one of the best ships you could bring along with you. Her damage is good with 2 main guns and now an extra barrage, and her only requirement is bringing 1 other Dragon Emperor ship with you to make her very tanky, which with Harbin is not a bad deal. Last but not least, we got Fate Sim 5 for FDG. Her Fate Sim gave her a few simple buffs. Her barrage is now centered regardless of her position, and she also fires it when her main gun fires. On her third skill, the wacky HP requirement is gone. Instead, it's now a permanent 20% firepower buff and 20% damage reduction. Her secondary weapon also gets stronger if she falls below 30% to really stop enemy ships from ramming her. Are these buffs improvements? Yes. Is she beating any of the other UR battleships now? Sadly, no. If anything, these buffs push her into becoming a more powerful mobbing battleship. Her barrage has always been more mob focused, and suicide boats are also more prevalent in mob fleets. And with that, we've covered all the ships that got updated in this patch. In my opinion, the big winners would have to be Theseus and Yat Sen. The rest are average at best. And that's everything. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please leave a like and subscribe. Happy Lunar New Year's everyone, and I'll see you later.